Hey guys, welcome to Liverpool United. Welcome to another video, and today I'm gonna talk about what Barcelona need to do to go back to their best. And their best doesn't necessarily mean back to Guardiola, back to Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, Puyol, Dani Alves. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean having the best ever seasons that we've had. It doesn't mean having the Luis Enrique Barcelona. That doesn't mean what we need. What we need is something similar to that, which doesn't need to be better in order to be the best. It just needs to be similar. We need to have similar stuff, similar attributes, similar players, a similar mentality, but most importantly, we need to be Cruyff. We need to be faithful to our style, because everyone out there that's saying, I've been hearing in my comments some people that are saying, oh, I want Guardiola back, I want our old players back. Guess what? Me too. I would love to have those kind of players at that age back at our club, but they're not coming back. So therefore we have to build in order for the future, and there's enough talent in the world to play how we need to play, how we want to play, and we have enough resources to do so. Because if Ajax with 10 million in revenue from TV rights can do it, then we as Barcelona can do it as well, and we have enough to do so. So here's a few of my ideas of what we need, and let's get started with the most important thing in every football inside. In every football club, the most important thing is the manager. And I'm going to talk about the managers because we have the likes of, I'm going to start with honorable mentions, either why I don't think they're going to be joining Barcelona, because I'm just doing a top 5 of my candidates, and some of these managers, in my opinion, are really good managers, maybe just not close enough to play the Barcelona way of playing of Cruyff with the possession and stuff, but I still think they're really good managers. So I'm just going to give a reason of why they won't be joining just yet. In my opinion, that is Luis Enrique, because I think that I think there's no way to sign him right now. He's happy, I think, with his Spanish national team job as the coach of the Spanish national team. I think that if there is an option to bring back Luis Enrique, we should, but eventually we should, after every player that he coached is not at this club anymore, or at least every major player, senior player. Like when Messi's not at the club anymore, then you can bring Luis Enrique back, because you can have senior Sergio Roberto, you can have senior Marc-André ter Stegen, Umtiti, but they were not as influential back then. So I think it wouldn't be a problem having Luis Enrique with those kind of players, but with the likes of Messi, Suarez, Alba, like I think we have to wait a couple years for that. Guardiola, obviously, if you can get Guardiola back, you get him back. I don't care when. I don't care if it's for the B team, for the staff, for, I don't know, for a part in the board, but Guardiola in my club, always. Just have him around, because that will help so much to our club to never lose the Cruyff way of doing things. Xavi, as you guys know, Xavi has announced his retirement from football at the end of the season. He's getting his coaching degree. That means he's not ready to be a coach. He's not allowed to be a coach yet. I believe he's going to finish his degree in July or June, something around there. I think that Xavi would be a great option, but like I said, again, it would be best if Xavi was playing with players if he was coaching players that he did not play with. Meaning that, in my opinion, Xavi should be just learning. He probably should go to the B team, should be in the staff of the manager that we hire now. So he's doing something similar to what Guardiola is doing with Mikel Arteta, something similar to what Ten Hag was doing with Guardiola at Bayern, things like that. I think would be really good for Xavi, and that would take a lot of pressure off him. He could take things slow, things would not be focused on him, and he could take the job in a couple years time when the time is right for him. There's the likes of Quique Setién, who I think he didn't make the short list. But he was the closest one out of the ones that are realistic to make the cut. But I decided against it because although I think he's a really good manager and I give him a lot of props, I think that his image is really damaged right now, and I think that we as Barcelona fans, we need someone with a little bit of a better image, and I think Setien just it doesn't make the cut in that sense. But as manager-wise, tactics-wise, and respecting the Cruyff way of things, he'll be one of the best. He'll be absolutely phenomenal, and if we as fans hire if we hire Quique Setien and we gave him all the trust in the world to do whatever he needs, I'm sure that he will come good. There's Bielsa, again, another manager that I think is interesting, that could do a good job. I just don't know how. I think he's very capacitated to be a Barcelona manager, but I think there's just better options out there. There is two managers in Julian Nagelsmann and Filippo Inzaghi that I think are two amazing managers. I just don't think they quite suit the Barcelona way of doing things, but if we brought them in and they were gonna adapt to the Cruyff way and involve their own stamp in the team, I think that would kind of be interesting. I think there are two managers that I like quite a lot. There's a lot of other managers I think are good, I just think they're not good for Barcelona. Now let's get with the top 5. At number 5 I have Mark Van Bommel, and Mark Van Bommel is, I think, in my opinion, one of the most underrated managers this season, because everyone's talking Ten Hag, everyone's talking Guardiola, Klopp, and in my opinion, Van Bommel has gone under the clock under the table because he's challenging with Ten Hag for the league title, and seeing as how good this Ajax team is, in order to be ahead of Ajax at this point in the goal average for the league with the same amount of points, that just tells me that you're a really good manager and you have a really good team, and that is the case. I don't think they're better than Ajax, but they're really close, and there's a reason they're tied in points with Ajax at this point in time. I think he'll be a really good option. I think that he just would bring a different way of doing things. He would be a lot like Luis Enrique, in my opinion. Like, he would be trying to go for possession, a lot of possession of the ball, but he will also go for times to just go and hit you, steal the ball from you and just go hit you fast with a lot of pace. And in my opinion, that will be really interesting for Barcelona. There is the likes of Sarri, who in my opinion is the closest thing that you're gonna get to Guardiola. To Guardiola itself is the closest thing that you're gonna get to him. And why do I say that? Because he just lives and dies by possession. Like, that's what you've seen this season with Jorginho, and you saw it with his Napoli team. Like, Jorginho, in my opinion, is not the best defensive midfielder that he should have bought, but yet again, there's not that many Sergio Busquets in the world, and it's a difficult position to find a really good player. But I think that Mauricio Sarri has proven everything to me in his Napoli team, and I know that with time he can develop a great side, especially with the resources that Barcelona have in comparison to Napoli. Just take into account that Napoli side was able to compete with a Juventus that's infinitely more resourceful than Napoli, and that have a way more expensive squad than that Napoli side. There is Thomas Tuchel, who in my opinion, there's a lot of pros on him, and I think he could be realistic, because there is rumors of Allegri and Mourinho, like Allegri apparently leaving Juventus and Mourinho apparently joining PSG, and I think that Allegri could be an option for PSG eventually. Even also Conte could be an option for PSG, so there is managers around that could be joining PSG this summer if things are not going well for some reason for Thomas Tuchel. If he's not happy, he could leave PSG this summer, so I think that he'll be a good option. I think the most important thing would be that he could get the best out of Ousmane Dembele. He's the manager that got the best out of Dembele, and I think that would be a lot of help. I think that his Borussia Dortmund side was amazing. I think his Mainz side was also really good, and if he could adapt the Cruyffism to his play, that would be really, really good for Barcelona. My second option, I think it's going to be unpopular opinion right now, but that is Pablo Machin, because the same as Thomas Tuchel, He is a manager that's available right now, has no job, got sacked by Sevilla, completely unjust because at one point they were challenging for a league title, but it's unrealistic to expect Sevilla to challenge for a league title because they're Sevilla, who have a squad, a really old squad, a really short squad, and a squad that's just not good enough as the best elite teams in Europe. But I think that he was able to put a really good side with a lot of possession some time, and let's not forget that whipping that they gave Real Madrid at the beginning of the season, that 3-0 was absolutely fantastic from Pablo Machin, and they put Barcelona behind the Reds a lot of the time. So I think Pablo Machin could give you a surprise. I think that he's with the job that he did with Girona was also really quality. So that would be just an option. I think that it would be a really good option and interesting one for Barcelona in the future. Now, I think there's no surprise. He's the man of the moment. He is getting all the headlines, and that is Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag is absolutely fantastic what he's done this season, and let's just say that he was about to get sacked by Ajax because apparently he wasn't being as truthful, like as I'm guessing that he was being more counterattacking because I'm not gonna lie to you, I've not watched that much of Ajax. I've pretty much only watched him in the Champions League, but all I've heard is that they were that Overmars and the other staff sat with Ten Hag and told him that things needed to change, that they needed to do a better work, like they just needed to improve with more possession, be more truthful to the Cruyffism, and I think that he did that, and the fruits of his work are showing right now. Ajax, I think, deserve more to reach the Champions League final, but Spurs in the second leg did what they had to do. Mauricio Pochettino also proved to be one of the best coaches in the world. I'm not putting him in this list because he said that he's never joining Barcelona because of his Espanyol past, and I think that's perfectly fine. It's a shame because I think he's one of the best managers around, and if Real Madrid was to pick up Mauricio Pochettino, I would be scary off my pants. But I think Ten Hag is it's exactly what we need right now. I think that he will have the full support of the club because they've seen what he can do, and I think that with the players a little bit of morale down, I think that they have no right to say anything right now, and if he wants, he can throw players. He can start throwing players out. He can start throwing big names out, and I think it's a really good time for someone like Ten Hag to come into the squad. Now, I have two sets of teams, as you're seeing in your screen. At first, I'm gonna be saying one team. I'm gonna be talking the team if there's not gonna be a big revolution in the squad. If there's not gonna be a big revolution in the squad, then this is the team for Barcelona for the coming season. You have the likes of Ter Stegen and Iñaki Peña in net, given that Jasper Citizen is rumored to he wants to leave Barcelona. He said that he wants to leave Barcelona at the end of the season because he's not playing enough minutes. And okay, I think that that's fair. He's given a lot to the club, and I think that we should make it easier for him to leave Barcelona because he's a fantastic goalkeeper. He's never make a fuss. He's been a total professional, and in my opinion, he's better than Keylor Navas and Thibaut Courtois. You can call me fanatic. You can call me that I've lost my mind, but in my opinion, what I've seen of I think Courtois is nowhere near one of the best goalkeepers in the world. First of all, I think Keylor Navas has earned himself that #1 spot and should be undisputedly the #1. But hey, that's not my job to decide. I'm not a Madrid fan. It's not my opinion to have an opinion on it, but I just think that who I would rather have as my goalkeeper, it would be Keylor Navas. But I think Jasper Citizen, it's better, and the only reason he's not the #1 is because Ter Stegen is an absolute machine in net. He's been our second best player this season, if not almost tied with Messi, except that Messi's having a freak season this season. At right back, I want Semedo as starter and Sergio Roberto as his backup, with Musa Wage progressively going into the side and maybe joining the side eventually. Now, I've heard rumors of Sergio Roberto that people want him to leave apparently, and I don't know why, because I would really like to hear your opinions and your arguments for why you want Sergio Roberto to leave, because I don't think that it's his fault that he's like I said, we're playing as a collective really badly, and when you play as a collective really badly, every other player is gonna shine less, and their individual performances are gonna be more notable. I think that Sergio Roberto, when this collective is working, he's still a really good right back, and more favorably, he can play at right mid, he can play at right wing, he can play at center midfield, at CDM. Like, there's just a lot of positions for Sergio Roberto, and I think that he's a really good player for the squad. I wouldn't sell him, in my opinion. He will still be my backup right back, and between playing 30% of the games at right back, playing in center midfield, playing in the pivot position, he will still get a lot of minutes this season. With injuries and everything, he will still get a lot of minutes this season. He could still play over 2,500, 3,000 minutes this season. Then you have the left back, Jordi Alba, like I've said. He just needs someone to play those minutes where you have Champions League games coming up, and there's a team that you can rest a player. I think it will be Jordi Alba, obviously, and then 80% of the games this season he plays. And then against the lower teams of the table, like the lower half of the table, you play when Alba's not ready to play or fit to play, you play Cucurella. I think that he's shown at Eibar that we are able to do things the right way, and that he's totally capable of playing in Primera División and having a really good time at it. I think that our center backs, in the case that we don't want to make a lot of changes, it would be Piqué and Umtiti as starters. Someone was saying in the comments of the match review for Liverpool against Barcelona that Piqué is slow and a bad defender, and was saying that, I don't know, he kept insisting on buying Van Dijk. I will agree. Van Dijk is, in my opinion, he's been the best defender this season. With Piqué, in my opinion, be the second best defender this season. And it's just my opinion. I think that he's been better than De Ligt just because he's playing at a higher competition in the La Liga compared to the Eredivisie. I think that in the Champions League he hasn't been too bad at all. I think he's, since like December-ish, he's been one of the best center backs in the world, and it's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I think that he's really improved this season in comparison to like the past 3 seasons where I thought that he was being actually really dodgy. But again, really good from Piqué, and I think that if he's willing to just fix his attitude a little bit and not want to play 95% of the games of the season, then he should stay. And this is basically the case with all the players that I'm not gonna have in the other squad. Is if the players are not okay with not reducing minutes, they have to leave. That's period. Like, it's not an option because these players need to reduce minutes next season. There is De Ligt as his backup for obvious reasons. De Ligt is a must in this team. When you keep saying Van Dijk, yes, Van Dijk would be great, but I think De Ligt is not far off Van Dijk. He's fast, he's strong, he's a good defender, he's a good reader of the play, he's good passing the ball out from the back. He's not as good as Van Dijk, but he's not far off, and he's 8 years his junior. Plus, Liverpool, there's no way they let go of Van Dijk for 150 million or less. Like, it's just not a thing. You're not getting Van Dijk out of Liverpool until he's 31 or runs out of contract. You know, so I think Van Dijk needs to stop. Oh, and I'm just going to put a little bit of a comment here. Whoever's saying that Sergio Ramos is one of the best defenders in the world, in my opinion, has no clue of what a good defender is. Because Sergio Ramos, in my opinion, is one of the most overrated players in the world. Surely one of the most overrated center backs in the world. Because he has the record for most red cards. And there's a difference between being a good leader and being a good center back. He's a fantastic leader, in my opinion. He does get his team like focused, and he has that fighting spirit that I wish a lot of Barcelona players had. But Piqué, he is a leader in defense, and because he is slower than Ramos doesn't mean that he's worse than Ramos. He's a much better defender than Ramos, and Ramos, if he's not a worse defender, because in my opinion, just because of his physical attributes, he gets to recover a lot of times from bad defensive reading. I think that if he didn't have that physical attribute, he would be a really, really bad defender. Like, he would be a really, really shit defender. Like, and that's not because I don't like Ramos or because he's from Real Madrid. I'm gonna say this, Varane, in my opinion, was being the best center back in the world for the past season. We didn't Titi as the second best center back in the world last season. And Pepe, who is a player that I don't like at all, he was a phenomenal defender when he was at Real Madrid. And although he had almost an attitude whenever he was focused on the game and not focused on breaking your legs or just getting red carded, then he was a phenomenal center back. But Sergio Ramos is too far overrated as a center back. And I'm going to talk about overrated players especially later in another video, but let's continue with the video because I get distracted with Sergio Ramos and all of this. So there is Umtiti and Clement Lenglet. I think that the starter, I would put Umtiti because the best Umtiti, in my opinion, is better than the best Lenglet. But if Umtiti doesn't recover from that knee injury, or if he takes a lot more time to recover from the knee injury, Lenglet perfectly can start. He's shown this season that he was one of the bargains of the season for 35 million. Absolutely fantastic. No complaints. Definitely, this season has to be considered one of the best center backs in the world. Then you have the pit position. You have Oriol Busquets. You have Ludovic Reis. Two players that are going to be playing in Barcelona. Be that either one of them should be getting minutes this season. I think Ludovic Reis, it's a lot faster than Oriol Busquets, but Oriol Busquets has been a lot more with Barcelona, and either one of them should be getting minutes this season. At least give them a lot of Copa del Rey appearances, and you know, those last games of the season. If you're not playing, if you're already still La Liga, there's the likes of Sergio Busquets, who is obviously the Sergio Busquets that we know and we need. Is a Sergio Busquets that I will keep. If he's not willing to maintain his level, like be motivated to win more titles, then I think Sergio Busquets needs to leave. But the best Sergio Busquets is the best center defensive midfielder in the world. Like, there's no one better with defensive reading than Sergio Busquets ever that I've seen in world football. Like, in my opinion, he makes the team for the best center defensive midfielder in the world, in the history. And then you have the likes of De Jong, who can also play there. And if I am right, because I thought initially that he was incapable of playing in that role of Sergio Busquets, but maybe he can get some minutes and learn that stuff, because the more and more I see Ajax, the more and more I get like confident that he can eventually produce that role. Then we have the likes of De Jong and Arthur as the Xavi and Iniesta replacements. And this is what I mean, that you don't have to have Xavi and Iniestas. You have to have players that can give you what Xavi and Iniesta did, and that are to a similar level. Are Frenkie de Jong and Arturo Melo at this point better than Xavi and Iniesta? No, they're not. But let me tell you, at their age, when Xavi and Iniesta, because Xavi and Iniesta were not the best footballers of all time when they started at Barcelona. Xavi and Iniesta were at the best since the 2008-09 season, and that's most truthfully for every legend Barcelona have ever had. Messi stopped having the injury issues in the 08-09 season with Guardiola. Iniesta started working as a center midfielder with Guardiola in the second half of the 08-09 season. We got the best we got Piqué. We know who Busquets is. We know who Pedro Rodriguez is. Thanks to Guardiola. Since that period, a lot of these players, like, let me tell you, De Jong and Artur at their age are a lot better than Xavi and Iniesta were when they were their ages. So I'm just saying that, are they better than prime Iniesta and Xavi? No, they're not. Do they have the potential to be so? Maybe. They could be. They don't have to be. They just have to be a similar level that can give us exactly what they had, which is exactly what there is. Artur, I think, is a carbon copy of Xavi. Like I said, maybe better, maybe worse, but a carbon copy of what Xavi did for us, Artur is been doing for us this season. And De Jong can do exactly the same, can do a little bit of Xavi, a little bit of Iniesta, and that's exactly what we need. We need someone that can distribute the play, that can organize the play, that knows when to not go forward because the team is not organized. That's what we need. Someone that can see if a team is getting organized, if we're ready to attack, if we're not ready to attack, to organize the play for us, to organize the team. And as our substitutions, we have Arturo Vidal to give us some of that like intensity that we need, because Arturo Vidal, everyone seems to think that he's just a crazy monkey, disorganized, that doesn't know how to play with a football, and that's not true. What Vidal already played under the likes of Guardiola at Bayern, so he's perfectly capable of playing for Barcelona. I think that what he gives us in intensity is something that that I miss from Barcelona players, like, you know, the likes of Pedro, you know, the likes of Mascherano, Puyol, the likes of Dani Alves. Like, we need that back, like intensity from those kind of players that are gonna wake us up, that are gonna give us a lot of hard work. And between that, we have Aleñá, who for me has shown that he's ready for the first team. And for me, Riqui Puig, who in my opinion, it's gonna battle with De Jong and Artur for being that one of the best centre midfielders in the coming years for Barcelona. I think he's that good. I think he has way more potential than Aleñá, because I think it's evident when you see him play. And they should both be in the first team, together with Arturo Vidal, Riqui Puig, De Jong, and then Sergio Roberto. That's 6 players for 2 positions. So we should have more than enough cover in those positions. Then in the forward line, you have the likes of, in my opinion, Messi, Suarez, Dembélé, and Messi, Suarez, Dembélé, with Messi and Suarez reducing a lot of their minutes, Dembélé getting a lot more minutes, a lot more continuity, playing 5 straight games, playing like 3 out of those 5 games, playing 3 full 90 minutes, like things like that. He needs to start getting more 90 minutes. Can you blame Dembélé for not succeeding when all he's had this season, I believe, is 2 full games? Ousmane Dembélé has only played this season 2 full games. That for me is absolutely a disgrace. Like, you cannot expect a player like that. You cannot complain that he's not succeeding if we're not gonna give him the tools to succeed at Barcelona. And to backups for Messi, Dembélé, Suarez, you have Rashford and Malcolm. I think Suarez plays this next season 60% of the games, and Rashford plays 40% of the games. And together with that, he can play a lot of more minutes from the wing, because he played from the left and from the right. Same with Malcolm, he can play from the left and from the right. And between all of that, 5 players for 3 positions, I think it would be really beneficial for Barcelona. Suarez could rotate a lot in La Liga, in the Copa del Rey, and we could leave the best Suarez for the Champions League, and we can start making Rashford being the best center back for us. But when I say Rashford, I just mean the striker that we're gonna buy. But now, talking about the striker, I really want to say there's 2 players that I don't want Barcelona ever to sign, and that is Neymar, and that is Antoine Griezmann. There is reports that we are still talking to the environment and the agents of Griezmann, and to that I say, have you lost your mind? He disrespected his club already enough with what he did last season, the documentary that he filmed. I think that's just disrespecting Barcelona, and I don't want him anywhere near our club, because it's just not who we are. We're telling everyone else that we're the laughing stock of Europe, that everyone can come here and laugh at us, and then everything will be fine. That's not how we do things. That's not the image that I want to show. So no Antoine Griezmann to join Barcelona. There is Marcus Rashford, there is Anthony Martial, there is Mbappe, there is Jovic, Piontek. There is, like, I would rather keep Felipe Coutinho than bring Neymar or bring Antoine Griezmann to Barcelona. And that's that bad. That's badly how I don't want them to join Barcelona. That I will keep Felipe Coutinho. So with that said, that's the first team. That's the first team that I think we should have, that we could have, if we're not gonna change too many things. But yet we're not gonna change too many things, and this would be a lot better team, because that gets rid of Rakitic, that gets rid of Suarez, Messi, Piqué, Alba playing that many minutes, and that gives De Jong, Artur a lot more minutes. That gives Semedo the starting spot. that gives Malcolm, Dembele, Rashford, Aleñá, Ricky Puig a lot more minutes. So therefore, we are building towards the future while we still have our experienced players. Now, if those players that I've mentioned, Piqué, Busquets, Suarez, if they're not gonna be happy with the minutes that they're given, and I mean those 60% of the games of the season, then sorry, you can join Rakitic and go out of my club, because it's just I just cannot accept that. There's better players out there, or at least there is players out there to replace you. No player is irreplaceable. Not even Lionel Messi is irreplaceable. Because although he's the best of all time and the best in the world, and yes, it will make Barcelona worse because we will have worse players. Like I said, they don't have to be as good. They have to be real good top class players that can give us similar to what they gave us. The hard thing with Messi is that there's no one similar to Messi. But if we can find someone that can give you something similar-ish, that can do a similar role, then that would work. Because there are teams that don't have Messi that play really well, like Manchester City and Ajax. So this will be the second team that you're seeing on the screen. The goal is the same: Ter Stegen, Iñaki Peña, Semedo, Sergi Roberto, Alba, Cucurella, and then you have De Ligt as the starter with Todibo, because I think Todibo could get loaned to Ajax or something like that. That's going to play similar to our style and develop at another club, get a lot of minutes in the next 2 seasons, and then after that Piqué could retire. But if Piqué's not going to stay at the club and we're going to get rid of him, then we have De Ligt and Todibo for the right hand side, and we have Umtiti and Longley for the left hand side. We have the likes of Rabiot, who could join on a free, although for me it is really worrying that no one has got him yet. We are in May, and we can negotiate with him in June, and there is no one that has tried to, no one has sealed his deal now. So that would worry me a little bit. But in terms of a world-class player, he's fantastic. He will come for free. Okay, he will have high wage, but he will come for free. And in terms of the player, if you try to buy him off the market with a lot of years on his contract, he will be a player that probably costs you 60-70 million euros. So in my opinion, it will be a great signing if he's not going to be a douchebag. Julian Bagel, another option. He's lost a lot of value in the past few seasons, but in my opinion, Julian Bagel is the closest thing to Sergio Busquets that I can find, that I've seen. And I think Julian Bagel, I don't think that Borussia Dortmund would ask more than 25-30 million euros. It would be weird for me. And in order to have an almost guaranteed Sergio Busquets replacement, he'll be really good. Or, like I said, we can try Frenkie de Jong and start giving him a lot of minutes. If we see that he's ready, then he could play that role with Rabiot. And between him, I'm sure that they will cover fine that position. And again, with Oriol Busquets and Ludovic Reis starting to learn that position as well. Then you have, in the interior position, De Jong and Arthur. That doesn't change, except for the point if you're going to play De Jong in the pivot position, then you're going to have Rabiot in the interior position, and Aleñá coming off the bench and rotating with them. Or you can have a midfield of De Jong, Arthur and Ricky Puig, who in my opinion would be an absolutely fantastic team. I would just love that a lot. Ricky Puig, that's a midfield that if it works, I want to see it happen, because it's just I just dream with that. It will be absolutely fantastic. I really think Ricky Puig could be one of the best talents in the world. He just has a lot of personality. He's not afraid of anything. He's just amazing. Then we put Messi back in. If we're gonna sell Suarez, we put Messi back into the false 9 position, and we get Rashford, or like I said, any other striker, and we get him to play that false 9 position. That means that it will be a lot less running for Messi. We can get him to not run, because Messi's in a period of his career where we don't need to waste him doing defensive action. If he could do it, then perfect, that would be better. But because he's not able to, he gives us so much in attack that not having him do anything in defense is still really good for Barcelona. So playing that false 9 position, when you need to rotate someone in the strike position, you play Marcus Rashford. And then you have the likes of Dembele, Malcolm and Leroy Sané for the wing. Dembele and Sané Tani off the left, Dembele off the right, and then you have Lionel Messi as the false 9, and Malcolm off. He can play off the left. He can be the substitute for the right. Marcus Rashford can play on the left, can play on the right. Again, 5 players that could do a lot for Barcelona, and I think it would be a really good thing to see. I think that if we get Ten Hag and we get that second team, I would. If we're gonna get Ten Hag, then you get me that second team, because I guarantee you that he will develop those players. If it's any of the other 4, except maybe Van Bommel, or like, I would give him the first team with the most experienced players, because I'm not sure how much they can develop the players and if results are going to start coming their way. But with Van Bommel and Ten Hag, I'm more confident that they will develop the young talent that we have. And most importantly, that's just what we need. We need to sign players where we need to sign them, not just sign fancy like players that are in the news. We need like players that are going to suit our style. We need to trust in La Masia, in the youth. We need to compete well for all fronts. Just, if you're going to lose being yourself, and lose with the tie being close, not getting humiliated. If you lose the tie of Champions League by hitting the post a million times and making more chances than the opponent, then so be it. If the opponent only had 2 chances of 2 counterattacks and you missed 20 posts, then so be it. Football is not math and it's not perfect, but we can do our best to be the best of ourselves. So with all that said, what is your opinion? I know this video is really long, but it's a topic that I could honestly talk for a lot more. Leave it in the comment section below. What do you think about the team? This is more of what we could see next season, so I would love to hear your opinions. Leave me your 11s and your manager for next season, and leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one, Blaugranas.